They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they want you.
Come on, hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Welcome to Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am your host, Murna Barnabas Atiai. In December 2021, ICPC signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the International Anti-Corruption Academy, IACA, Vienna, Austria, to work together in different areas of mutual interest, the sole purpose of curbing corruption, not just in Nigeria, but in the continent of Africa. The MOU signed by the ICPC chairman, Professor Bolaji Owasonye, SAN, and the Dean of IACA, Mr. Thomas Telzer, was aimed at expanding the capacity of the Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria, ACAN, ICPC's training and research arm, through collaborative projects and information exchange. In furtherance of this agreement, signed in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, the Dean of IACA recently visited Nigeria on a 2-day working visit to strengthen the relationship and explore new areas of partnership with Nigeria in the fight against corruption. Today's edition focuses on the visit. Do stay tuned as we bring you details of the visit, but first, let us join Joy Aja with anti-corruption stories.
Hello viewers, thank you for staying with us. I am Joy Aja with Anti-Corruption Stories. ICPC and the Nigeria Police have agreed to partner to rid Anambra State of corruption and other crimes. This agreement was reached when the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 13, Mr. Tony Olufu, received the ICPC Resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Anambra State, Mr. Godwin Oche, in his office at Ukpo, Anambra State, and stated that the police was ready to work with the commission to achieve its mandate. While speaking on insecurity matters in the state, Mr. Olufu assured that the police was working hard to ensure the security of lives and properties. Earlier, Mr. Oche informed the AIG of the several collaborations between the two agencies, noting that it had yielded fruitful results. He further added that the ICPC Anambra State office, being new, would benefit greatly from the partnership. And from Mina, the Niger State Office of ICPC has commended the Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission, HYPODEC, for taking necessary steps to inaugurate its Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit ACTU. The ICPC Resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Mr. Zayana Damusa, who gave this commendation recently at the inauguration ceremony of the ACTU, stated that ACTUs were formed to complement the efforts of ICPC by serving as its outposts and preventive mechanism in federal government ministries, departments, and agencies to fight corruption, instill ethical standards and integrity in the public service system. He added that ICPC had developed some far-reaching initiatives in prosecuting the war against corruption, with a firm belief that strategic preventive engagement involving system study and review, corruption risk assessment, and the administration of ethics and integrity compliance scorecards in government institutions will restore the right ethical values in public service. In his remarks, the Managing Director, Hyperdeck, Professor Abubakar Sadiq Yawa, thanked ICPC for commending Hyperdeck's efforts, stressing the readiness and commitment of its management in the fight against corrupt practices and other related offenses in Nigeria. In a bid to stifle the menace called corruption, ICPC Enugu State Office has sensitized the students of Day Secondary School, Enugu, on examination malpractices and social vices. Addressing the students at the assembly ground, Mr. Obina Igwe, a principal superintendent with ICPC, counseled the students to be morally upright and eschew any form of corrupt practice. Mr. Igwe warned the students that anyone who engaged in examination malpractices may end up becoming a quack professional in their chosen career and a danger to the society. He therefore enjoined the students to join the Student Anti-Corruption Club so as to build themselves towards being honest, good citizens, people of integrity, and becoming good role models to their peers. In her remarks, the Vice Principal of the school, Mrs. Madubike, welcomed and recognized the efforts of ICPC in eradicating corruption in schools across the country. She encouraged her students to join the club because it is an important platform for them to imbibe the virtues of good morals and ethical values, which would help them become useful to themselves and the larger society. And that will be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues with Murna. Please stay with us.
Fellow Nigerians, do you know that constituency projects are actually your projects? Do you know that constituency projects are funded by the federal government? Do you know that you can track release of constituency project funds for projects located in your constituency and follow up to know how they have been executed? Constituency projects happen because government does not want to leave any community out in development efforts. You have a responsibility to know what constituency project has been planned for your community, how much has been allocated for it, and whether value for money has been delivered. Take ownership of constituency projects located in your community. Protect them because they belong to you. Government knows about your needs and is planning for you. Government needs your help to ensure quality delivery. Know that constituency projects are actually your projects. Protect your constituency project. My constituency, my project.
For information on funds allocated to projects in your constituency, call 0800 2255 4272.
This message is from the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission and the National Orientation Agency.
If you're just tuning in, this is Corruption Must Go. Upon arrival, the Dean paid a courtesy visit on the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, who described the visit as a welcome development while expressing the readiness of the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to stamp out corruption in Nigeria.
We know the cause of corruption, whether it's political or social, and that is why this government has started in the right direction. We do know as a fact that when the fight goes on properly, more resources will be liberated for the development of our country. For us here, we will continue to put in place measures that will encourage investment in our country, and in the process we will grow this economy, and by implication also deepen our democracy.
Welcoming the Dean to ICPC, The ICPC chairman, Professor Bolaji Owasonye, SAN, stated that the dean was in Nigeria to operationalize the MOU that was earlier signed in 2021 and declared that ICPC was ready and prepared to service the collaboration by taking advantage of IACA's capacity building programs for its officers. Owasonye also said that ICPC was willing to explore the possibility of having 1 or 2 officers of the commission to go to IACA for a year or 2 as a learning curve.
So what do we hope to see in this collaboration? First, we're happy that we signed an MOU with IACA in 2021 December at Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. We're happy that this visit is not just a follow-up to that, to see how we can begin to implement some of the expectations, but to also see how the support of Nigeria can be strengthened for IACA. We would love, for example, as we have discussed, to be able to partner together to become a regional hub for some of our activities and some of the activities of IACA, to exchange staff, and we have agreed. We have one example in the immediate past where one of our staff was with IACA for about 2 years or more. We hope to take that forward a bit more once we agree on the parameters. We have agreed to test the waters by having some activities at the regional level for which we will jointly seek some funding support from partners to build capacity within anti-corruption agencies and in the broader context of among stakeholders and public sector players.
In his remarks at the visit, Mr. Thomas Stelzer noted that Nigeria had been a partner in progress with IACA for more than 10 years and that the International Academy would ever be ready to offer technical assistance on capacity building to practitioners facilitating the implementation of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. He went on to say that one of the purposes of his visit was to see how to reinvigorate the existing cooperation and how to work with ICPC in the global agenda of anti-corruption.
Nigeria has been a strong partner in the past. Before COVID, COVID was a rupture and a lot of things came down a little bit. So this is one of the purposes of my visit here, to see how we can reinvigorate our cooperation, what we can do for you, what you request from us, and how we can work with your institution in our global agenda of anti-corruption. Now, we have been discussing this morning how to cooperate in real terms with the Academy. We have come up with several good approaches which we are working out right now based on our memorandum of understanding that we concluded with the Commission in Sharm el-Sheikh at the last Conference of States parties. I'm very confident. As the chairman said, we are looking at 2 aspects here: the national aspect, Nigeria as one of our lead partners, but also, of course, Nigeria as the regional hub for many initiatives. ECOWAS, 15 countries, like-minded. How can we bring our services to fruition in this regional context? Whether we can interest you to maybe consider an anti-corruption initiative within ECOWAS, so that we can really scale up our delivery capacity here. We have been talking this morning, for example, if we bring 2 students per country into our master programs per year, this would be 30 students with an extremely strong rate of return of the investment, human resource development. These professionals, they go back to their countries after they've concluded their studies with us. They have learned how to understand and to implement the provisions of the convention in their professional life. They become multipliers, bridgeheads for us in the networks, in the professional networks, social networks. So this would be a very quantifiable initiative, I might say, and also with a relatively modest financial impact.
The relationship between ICPC and IACA spans many years, with the former chairman of the commission, Mr. Ekwo-Ntah, being a member of its board of governors since 2015 and the current chairman of the board of governors since this year, 2023. During the Dean's courtesy visit to Mr. Ekwo-Ntah, who is currently the chairman of National Salaries and Wages Commission, Mr. Ntah stated that against some people's position, poor remuneration was not an excuse for corruption, as that is where ethics and compliance should come to play. Let's hear him.
In the anti-corruption sector, most of the reasons given by public sector analysts in the workforce is that if you don't give a good salary, people tend to be corrupt. It's subject to various interpretations because the ICPC chairman would know most of his clientele are not those who are earning small salaries. So the issue of ethics and compliance now comes in. All these are interrelated, but if you look at UNCAC, it's one of the articles that must remunerate your public sector adequately, and that's where we fit into the UNCAC regulations and articleships. And that's why whatever we try to do, we have a lot of ongoing partnerships with the ICPC, particularly if we're looking at whether our circulars are being complied with.
Earlier during the inspection of the facilities of the Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria, the provost of the academy, Professor Olatunde Babawale, noted that the relationship between ACAN and IACA had been very cordial, just as he expressed the hope that the collaboration between the two bodies would further strengthen the strategies of the anti-corruption fight.
The relationship that IACA has with the academy and the commission in particular, since the academy is just a subset of the commission, has been long and very deep and cordial. Indeed, I was privileged to attend a meeting in Vienna along with the chairman. I tagged along with him in October 2021, and that was the first time I met Mr. Stelzer in Vienna. And we had very useful discussions. And I see that there is a lot that we can do together as partners in progress in this crusade against corruption worldwide. There is a lot in terms of manpower training that I think we can benefit from you. In terms of assisting in developing a curriculum further, I believe that this particular visit will provide us with the opportunity of tapping from the rich resource base of the International Anti-Corruption Union. We are also ready and available, and I think to some extent capable, of serving as the hub for anti-corruption training in West Africa. And we wish that Mr. Stelzer can help us carry that crusade to the United Nations and to IACA.
A major highlight of the two-day visit was a tour of the facilities at both ICPC headquarters in Abuja and the Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria in Kefi, Nasarawa State. That's our package on today's edition. Watch Corruption Must Go every Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. on NTA Network and International. Don't forget to follow us on our social media handles showing on your screen to know more about the Commission's effort in the fight against corruption. Don't forget also, ICPC is now on Threads as at ICPC Nigeria. Do make it a date with us next week for another engaging episode of the program. Bye for now. I am Murna Barnabas Atiai.